Rahim. Continuing the series of the lectures on the design of structures, herein I am discussing about the design of rectangular water tank in this lecture. So, mainly we will be emphasizing on the design of rectangular water tanks. This lecture will be comprised of the basics about the rectangular water tank, the loading acting on the walls and the base slab of the rectangular water tanks, and the critical loading condition for the design of water tank. As you can see on the slide that a rectangular water tank is comprised of definitely the base slab and the walls. It can be an on-ground water tank, or it can also be an in-ground water tank. For in-ground water tank, we have to use two conditions: that tank is empty, where there is no water loading and only the soil loading is present. And for on-ground tank, there is no loading, soil loading from outside. Whereas if you are considering the tank as filled, then the water loading is present and we ignore the loading from outside. So these are the extreme conditions for designing of the walls of the tank. That tank is empty and no allowance for load from the inside, but only the outer load is present. And when tank is full, no load from the surcharge or soil is present. So a tank can be a single rectangular tank like this, or sometime it can be a multi-cell tank like this, where there are the multi-compartments. This tank on the right hand side is comprised of the basically the walls shown in the red color, the exterior wall, the green color are the interior walls, and the blue color are showing the base slab. So for interior wall, the conditions are different. We have to fill the tank accordingly against the critical conditions, and for exterior wall, the conditions are accordingly changed. For every compartment, you have to see the critical condition actually, and this is the difference between the conventional design of the walls or the slab of the building, and for the slab and the walls of the base for the water tank, that you have to go for the extreme all the time critical conditions. And similarly, the base slab here will be can be designed as a slab, but once for the soil load and also for the water load. Mainly, if you start the design of the tank, you should divide the tank different dimensions, as length as shorter dimensions of the wall as Lx, the longer dimension of the tank as Ly, and depth of the tank as Lz. So here in this lecture also, mainly we are emphasizing on these three dimensions, and based on that we will decide the type of wall. Here I have shown the different walls with the different color: the longer wall, the shorter wall, and the top slab, and similarly the base slab. So these are the different components of rectangular water tank needed to be designed for the different conditions. Starting with the one-way wall in the vertical direction. We have all the given dimensions Lx, Ly and Lz. Now if Lx over Lz or Ly over Lz is larger than 2, then we are taking it as a one-way wall in vertical direction. And it means that the bending action is dominant in vertical direction only. So how we can say that it is a one-way in vertical? Yes, because this is the length of the wall and this is the height of the wall, and when you divide it, of course the dimensions are such that the bending is dominant in vertical direction. It means that it is bending in the vertical directions. There will be nominal steel in the horizontal directions. And Further, it has three conditions: that bending action is dominant in vertical directions, but whether it's a free and top end, it's a hinge at top end, and it's a fixed at top end. Every conditions have the different bending. If it is free at top end, the bending moment is zero at the top and maximum at the bottom, and it's negative. So negative moment due to the water load gives the reinforcement on the water side. When it is hinge at top end, the bending moment is zero at the top again, but it's positive in the upper region and negative in the lower region. It will be lesser negative as compared with the first case. The positive movement gives the steel opposite to the loading side. So if you are computing this movement for the water loading, this will give the reinforcement on outer side, and the negative movement gives the reinforcement on the water side. The positive movement gives the reinforcement on outer side. Similarly, its negative movement in the first case gives the reinforcement on the water side. In this case again, the third one case, the movement is negative at the top, positive somewhere in the middle, and again negative at the bottom. So negative movement give the reinforcement on the water side and the positive give on the outer side. Again the negative give the steel on the water side. So if the loading from the outside is also present due to the soil, then what will happen, that the soil will act the load from the outside and the movement diagram will be opposite to that. This one and this movement diagram will be opposite, but the values of course will be different, but behavior is opposite. It means that the soil loading from the outside or any other loading from the outside are giving us the contrary effect as compared with the water loading. So the steel coming from the loading from the outside will be opposite to the steel due to the loading from the inside. So we have to go for both the conditions, not at the simultaneously, but actually we have to deal it individually and separate. Now it is also possible that the wall behave one way in vertical direction, and when the wall behave as a one-way wall in horizontal direction, this is when Lx over Lz is less than 0.5, then the wall will behave as one way in horizontal directions. We have to need to analyze this horizontal direction as one way slab beam for unit width. So we will just consider in this case this unit width of the wall equal to the 1 meter and this length, and we can design it as a fixed ended one way slab. And we can take this ordinate for this as a maximum ordinate of the UVL can be taken there. So it's simple, but the bending, the main steel will be provided in the shorter directions. And this steel can be reduced when you go at the top, because the UDL at the upper strip is quite smaller as compared with the bottom one. So critical is the lower strip, and topper one, the strip at the top having lesser steel, so more spacing can be provided. Now next one are the uh, when the two-way walls are there, that when Lx over Lz is or Ly over Lz is larger than 0.5 or equal to zero point 0.5 but lesser than 2, so up to 2, 0.5 to 2, when these are the values, then these behavior is not one way in vertical direction nor in the horizontal direction. So actually these walls behave in the two directions, vertical as well as the horizontal directions. This wall will behave as plate element, and bending will be present in both directions, Lx and as well as in Lz. So there are three cases basically for these walls: also two-way wall with top and free, two-way wall with top and hinge, and two-way wall with top and fixed. So how to deal this case? Actually, as I told that this is bending in both the directions, and this is this is the elevation is showing that left end is fixed, right end of the wall is fixed, bottom end of the wall and fixed, but top end of the wall can have the any three conditions. So bending moment in horizontal as well as in vertical direction is present. So this wall will behave like a plate element. We have to analyze it as a plate element, not like a line element like we have analyzed the one-way walls, because this is a two-way wall. So how to design this wall when it is behaving like a plate element? We have to actually find out the coefficients for the plate element which is subjected to the UV. So when the UVL is acting and this is a plate element and throughout the UVL is acting, which is zero at the top, maximum at the bottom. This can be a water pressure, this can be a soil pressure. So then we have to follow the relevant coefficient which are valid for the two-way wall subjected to the UVL. First case of the two-way wall is top and free. When top end is free, the movement is zero at the top, vertical movement, and negative maximum at the bottom. Similarly, all the time, the horizontal negative is present at the spot, horizontal positive is present in the middle. So here the yellow lines are showing the negative movement zone, which give the reinforcement on the loading side. The blue line is showing the positive movement zone in that direction, horizontal direction, which gives the reinforcement opposite to the loading side. So how we can compute this movement? MV negative, CV is the coefficient, W is equal to gamma into LZ, the maximum UVL ordinate, and LZ is the depth of water or the depth of wall. Sometime it is sometime equal or sometime, but we have to take it as a loading dimension where the UVL is acting. MH negative is CH negative W into LX square. LX is the horizontal dimensions and LZ is the vertical dimension. So MH positive is CH positive, and where to see these coefficients? For finding out this coefficient, the analysis is done, and you can follow that in codes. It's also given actually different codes and different it's somehow different. Somewhere the equations are given, you can follow anyone, more or less these are very closer to each other. Here I can show you some coefficients which are basically giving us two things. One is the coefficients on the left hand side of this curve, and lambda, which is giving us the location of the movement. So we will see the aspect ratio Lx over Lz, go in the upward directions and cross this coefficient, CH negative from this, CH positive, CV negative, and lambda from the right side. Lambda into Lz gives us the location as it is written in the formula. So lambda into Lz, this is for the first case. So this is the second case when top end is hinged. When top end is hinged, it means that the tank is covered with some heavy slab, but not monolithic with the walls. It is like a roller sport or hinge sport. In this case, the movement is negative in the vertical direction, but as well as positive also. So in this zone, the positive movement is also developed. So MV positive, vertical, MV negative, vertical, MH negative, and MH positive. All these movements are present. We have to see these four coefficients: CV negative, CV positive, and CH negative, CH positive for MV negative, MV positive, MH negative, and MH positive respectively. MV positive, it is located at lambda 1 LZ. It means that this movement is maximum. MV positive is from bottom of the tank. This movement is maximum at lambda 1 Lz, and MH negative, this movement is maximum at lambda 2 Lz. So that's the application of the lambda. and CHM is positive, this moment is maximum at lambda 3 LZ. So these moments are computed and the location can also be computed from this. You will get that where this moment is maximum, and this formula gives the magnitude of these moments. And this is the relevant curve. When top end is hinge, you have the more number of curves, lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3 on the right hand side, and C coefficients on the left hand side. Similarly, the third case, the top and fixed, we have more number of movements, MV negative top, MV positive, and MV negative bottom, 3 in vertical direction and 3 in horizontal directions. And this separate chart is used for this case. So here you have again one more number of curve because CV negative at bottom, CV positive at top, CV negative at top, and CV positive at lambda 1 LZ. So location is also can be computed and value also. Location means that the moment is maximum at that specific location, whereas in other location the moment magnitude of course reduces, and we can accordingly reduce the reinforcement in the remaining zone because the moment actually here varies and changing from positive to negative or negative to positive. So accordingly we can decide that where the more steel is required and where the lesser steel is needed. So this was about the designing the walls of the tank. We have discussed about the one-way wall and the two-way wall, and finally you are able to decide that design of steel, and if there is a wall you can easily find that which steel is needed, and for the water which steel is needed for the soil, and sometime if the tank height is not much you can even go for the larger area, like this steel is on right face, so you can select the larger of these, and finally you can go for that. So next one is the uh, uh, mm, design of base slab of the rectangular tank. So this topic is mainly regarding the how to design the slab, and this one is the base slab actually is the main critical slab compared with the top slab. Can be conventional design sometime, but sometime if the traffic is passing then you have to design it like a bridge deck, but mainly the bottom slab here I'm discussing where which is either designed for the water load or soil load if it is an in-ground tank, and if it is an on-ground or overhead tank then the base slab is designed for the water load. So here I have made the two categories, that suspended slab which is not resting on the soil, and the continuous resting slab which is resting on the soil. So if the slab is basically suspended, it means that your slab is not touching the ground from the base. This line, yellow line, not touching the ground. It means that this is a suspended slab. So base slab is designed for the water load and the self weight of the slab, but you cannot say that you will take the full water and at the same water load the negative movement is maximum and the positive is also maximum, because negative and the positive movements are interlinked. So when the tank is full the negative movement is maximum, and you have to design for the negative reinforcement in the base slab which is a top steel at the supports. And when the tank is filled up to the critical depth you have to compute the positive movement. For that you need to compute the critical depth of water. So when water tank is filled up till the critical depth, at that point the positive movement is maximum. When the positive is maximum, negative is not maximum, because in this case base slab is always fixed on the both side of the basically slab, right and the left side. First you see the fraction of the load going in that shorter or longer direction, and then you compute the simple span movement m naught. So m naught is WL square over 8. W is the total downward load L is the span of the base slab, and into the coefficient of friction, minus you compute the M negative. You can take the M negative from the wall, which is transferred from the water load, and that was developed on these wall. Like you are designing the shorter span of the base slab, the longer wall negative moment is can be basically subtracted from that, and you can compute it for that. Basically negative moment is already computed for full tank full case, but you can also compute it for the critical depth, because while you are computing the positive moment, you have to take the negative moment also for that critical depth. So how to compute it? It's simple. First, you have to prove it. You simple span movement in the base slab is alpha over 8 WL square, where W is equal to gamma Z. Here I am saying that Z is basically unknown because we want to compute that Z, the depth of water, critical depth ZC, where the positive moment is maximum. So W is equal to gamma Z L square over 8 into alpha is the fraction of the load going in that shorter direction. This is also available based on the span ratio. You can compute that how much load is going in the shorter direction and how much in the longer direction. So then the movement at the wall, the negative movement, you know that generally I can write any negative vertical movement was CV negative into W into L LZ Z scale, where W is also equal to gamma into Lz. So it comes out to be negative moment. You can say that beta into gamma into Lz cube. So it can be written like that. But you know that here we are computing the Z, so rather than taking the full depth Lz, Z is unknown. So beta, generally you can write the negative moment as beta gamma Z cube. Now this is the negative movement. So what is positive? As I told you that the positive movement is m naught minus m negative. So m naught minus m negative, it will give you the expression for the positive movement, and then we derivate this positive movement because we want to compute that z. So derivate with respect to the z, and you have to derivate with respect to that depth of water and put it equal to the 0. And by solving this equation, the critical depth comes out to be alpha over 24 beta under the root multiplied by the L span length, that is L span of the base slab you are designing. If you are designing the shorter, it will be Lx. If you are designing the longer, it will be L1. Beta is the negative moment coefficient at wall. When you are designing the shorter span, it will be the negative moment coefficient of longer wall. So in this way, alpha is the coefficient, basically fraction of the load going in that direction. If you are designing the shorter direction, alpha is the fraction of load. So you can see from the table. So from that, you put down all the values in the positive moment expression, Z critical value, and you can modify this one expression into positive maximum, and just you have to add the self-weight moment in that and putting the values alpha gamma ZCL square over 8 minus beta gamma ZCQ. Negative moment coefficient was already known from the walls. For one-way wall, it is 1 over 6. For the two-way wall, it is from the charts, which is CV negative. So you will put beta as CV negative for two-way walls if it is at the end of the slab is a two-way wall, and if at the end of this slab panel is a one-way wall, you will put it 1 over 6. And the remaining parameters are known, and you can compute the positive moment. Next is the slab which is resting continuously on the side. This will behave differently because this is not a suspended slab. Here important point is that we assume that the soil is stiff and rigid and the load is acting on the soil and the bearing pressure is developed on the soil. So when tank is full, the base slab will be designed like normal fixed ended slab, that is a raft, either one way or two way. So this is a fixed ended slab, one way or two way for total upward bearing pressure. So you will compute the P over A, where P is basically the total force of water plus weight of the tank, and either unfactored or factored, because we are designing the tank for working as well as ultimate method. So first we will take the unfactored and divide it by the area. It will give me the value of the upward bearing pressure. It should be lesser than the allowable bearing capacity. If it is not lesser, you must increase the raft on all sides. So we are normally providing the heel of the tank on all sides, and we can increase it even 1 meter more than that if you feel that your pressure is much higher as compared with the bearing capacity. So you will determine that pressure. So upward pressure with fixed ended slab, this will give us the reinforcement, basically the bottom reinforcement under the supports and the top steel between the metal span. So you have to analyze it. If it is a one-way slab, just analyze it normally as the fixed ended movement. You can analyze it as a one-way slab or beam, and you can use those one-way coefficients, and the positive as a movement is at the support and the negative at the basically middle. And when you are it is a two-way, then you have to see the aspect ratio, and when it is a two-way slab, we can use any fixed ended slab coefficients can be used, or we can analyze this plate as a fixed ended slab. So that will give us definitely, again the condition will be same. I mean, when the load is acting upward on a fixed ended slab, the negative movement will be developed in the middle zone, and the positive movement is developed on all sides of the support. In addition, we must see that the negative movement or the positive that was computed from the upward bearing pressure, what movement is basically transferred from the wall. So always when you basically design the base slab, in addition, sometimes the wall height is too relatively higher. So we must see that what was the negative movement or the movement from the soil basically from in the water tank. So this movement, basically the water load will provide some negative movement also in the not only in the wall but also in the base slab, and the soil load also develops some movement on the outer side, but also the positive movement in the base slab. So soil basically making some tension at the bottom at the support, and the water load UVL. So this is also possible that maybe the negative movement that you compute for the soil load, that may be lesser, and maybe the load that is transferred from the wall is larger. So you need to always go for the larger movements that is transferred from the walls to the tank base of the tank. So in this way you can actually design it and always go for the critical conditions for the design of the tank. The bottom, normally this is the rare case because the span of the base slab is quite larger, and we can compute this as a one-way or two-way slab for the full case, full water load. We consider while computing the bearing pressure, you go for the full depth of water and compute the bearing pressure and compute the movements. In addition, we can, if the movement is, let's say, definitely the steel which is provided in the wall is also extended into the base slab. So a lot of reinforcement is already provided at this joint, but we need to follow the proper detailing for the reinforcement while designing the tank. The joints needed to be provided at the junction, water stopper is also needed, and durability aspects, we have to use some seepage control measured and use some admixture in the concrete. So always what we have learned from this lecture is that you need to basically follow the critical conditions and find out the bending moment all the time for the critical conditions, and then the design the tank and provide the relative steel on the required side of the tank. So that was all about the rectangular water tank design. You can ask me about any further questions. So thank you very much.